Tell them that you like to share some information with them that you think would be really beneficial to them. And then give them the specifics of it and invite them into the conversation. And when I had people in this room, and there were a lot of men actually in this room, it was a mixed audience, they were floored to think that feedback was positive. So we talk about assessing where we're at and overrowing the boat. And we talk about aligning our goals to be more intentional where we want to go, right? So the next one is we're going to talk about accelerating. So we're going to accelerate by making the ask. So how many people in here are incredibly good at asking for what they need in their business? Right? You can go get the budget you need, or you can go put it out there, right? How does that shift when it's about you asking for what you need in your career? I've worked with so many women in particular who are highly effective at getting what they need for the business, but do not transfer those skills as elegantly over for themselves. And so we have to really get honed in on what do we need to do to make the ask for ourselves as effectively as we do for our organization. So when you think about this, it's incredibly important to find clarity in what we want and why we can. And I want to focus on the why we can part. So this statistic came up in a discussion earlier today, and I want to make sure it's out there because it's a huge theme for this section. There was a study done by HP some years ago. It got put into an HBR article in 2014. It's just as relevant today as it was then. The study was this. When given a job description, men apply if they feel they are 60% qualified. Women apply if they feel they are 100% qualified. Here's the consequences of that. Number one, when we opt ourselves out and we say we're not qualified, it's probably unlikely we have shared that with anybody else. It's a conversation we've had in our own head where we've looked at it and been like, well, I can't do that. And off we go. Number two, it's one thing to say, well, I'm not interested, not this time in my career, that sort of thing. But here's the problem. If the stats are true, even if they're close to that, and if men are putting themselves in their 60% with 6% qualifications, think about how many more at-bats they have. Here's the thing. It's not just at-bats, it's practice. It is practice. So that when the job that they want comes up, they have had a heck of a lot more opportunities to have practiced, gotten feedback, and refined. That is huge. And if you take away anything today, it is look at that statistic in a different light, because even if you are not 100% sure you want to go do something, go do it for the practice. Get the feedback and refine, because when your time comes, you want to have had as many opportunities to have practiced as those men did. And men, it's important as you lead others and you're leading women that you recognize this, because these conversations are not conversations that women are typically coming to you and saying, hey, I'd really like to do this, but I'm not meeting everything on here. It's not, that's just not the way it works. So for men that are in this room and that are leading, please be aware of that you have to look at this from that lens also. Because the idea is we want the best candidates. We got to have the best candidates all in the same pool. You can't have the best candidates and then you've actually unconsciously eliminated an enormous amount.